welcome to this videocast and podcast for subscribers to davidicke.com. Well, I'm going to do some questions this week, lots of them, on loads of different subjects. But I'll start with a kind of question area that came from 3 or 4 people, which was, why don't you give us solutions? Why do you always talk about what's wrong and not what to do about it? Well, I've found that interesting over the decades that I've been doing this, because you talk about solutions, as they're called, but it kind of passes a lot of people by because it's not what they want to hear. When people talk about solutions, it's like we must do A, B, C, and D. We must have a meeting. We must take minutes and stuff like that. But as I'll get into, there's no solutions coming from there. The action that we take comes from the attitudes we have, the perceptions we have, and how willing we are to take personal responsibility for what's happening instead of passing it on to other people. And in terms of talking about positive things, what is more positive than what I've been pointing out all these years? That we are not our bodies, we are not our names and our life stories, they are our experiences. We are infinite awareness, a state of being aware. How aware is the decision we make on what we allow our perceptions to be. But beyond the manipulation of perception, we are still infinite awareness, having experiences. We are still eternal awareness. There is no death, just leaving the vehicle, the body. I mean, how much positivity do you want than that? And this is one that I had. And some were very nice and very respectful, and 1 or 2 others weren't. But I'm used to that. So a guy calls himself Stevie Sleuth. Why are you so addicted to fear and use that to promote yourself? How about working on solutions instead of the problems? Now that, after a quarter of a century of this, is a classic. First of all, do I look addicted to fear? If anyone should be frightened after what I've uncovered over the years, it should be me. But I'm not frightened. And it's funny how people relate fear to uncovering things that we need to know about. Because if we don't know about them, and therefore do not have at least the opportunity to do something about it, then they go on happening. And if you look around the world and you look at all the expressions of this global network that I'm exposing in terms of the horrors and the reasons to fear, well, that's what happens when these things unfold, with most people having no idea why they're happening or what's behind it, except what the mainstream media has told them. And so, if people choose to be in fear of what is uncovered about what is behind them, well, that's their problem. And it's their decision. You can look at it in fear, oh my God, or you can say, fantastic, Now I'm starting to get an understanding of what's happening and what's behind it and the methods that are used to manipulate me. So thus I can be a lot less manipulated than I was before. That's a great thing. That's one way of looking at this information as it comes to light. Another one is, oh my God, shut up, you're frightening people. Well, stick around if you're talking about frightening people and see what's happening, get even closer to its planned end. And then there's this idea that exposing the problem can be somehow divorced from doing something about it. I've always found that very weird, personally. Okay, I've got some solutions. Oh yeah, what for? For what's happening? Well, what's happening? Well, I can't tell you, or I'll be promoting myself through fear and frightening people. Can't tell you, but here's some solutions. What are you talking about? How can you have solutions to something you don't know what's going on? Go away. So, a massive, massive part of bringing an end to this global manipulation and its endless faces and facets is to expose A, that it's going on, B, what's behind it, and C, the methods of manipulation it uses, so we stop being manipulated to do its will, believing that we're not. It's extraordinary. How do you change something if you don't know what needs changing? How can you stop being manipulated by something if you don't know that something exists and you don't know how it manipulates? So massively part of the addressing of what's going on is to know what there is to be addressed. And then there's this idea I get from some people here and there. Oh, well, you said that before. I've heard that. And your point is? There are billions of people in this world, billions of people, who have not had access to any other explanation of the world and world events than the mainstream. And so what we need to do to challenge that is to say things once and put things out once, and then that will sort it, won't it? Those who are really committed to making a difference keep putting this information out in different forms, in different ways, over and over and over and over again, because they know that there's the vast majority of people in the world have never had access to it. So you keep putting it out, and every time you put it out, you get someone else who hasn't seen it before. Oh no, I've heard that. See? Me. Another expression of the me-centric world. Okay, you've heard it. Okay, what are you going to do about it? We'll wait for you to give us some solutions. Here we go, round and bloody round. We tend not to like hearing solutions that involve personal responsibility, and thus they kind of go through, don't register. See, he never gives any solutions. And anyway, the world is drowning in solutions that lead to other problems that then demand other solutions. Wouldn't it be a good idea if we remove the cause of the problem? I think that would be more effective. So what is the problem? It is the program, as I call it. It's the programmed perceptions of the human population who have been systematically put before that programming and subject to that programming from the moment they entered the world until the moment they leave it, through education and the media and all these things, science and medicine, all these expressions of the system that are telling you what is, what isn't, what's possible, what's not possible, what's credible, what's not. And when you challenge these assumptions of the system, then they just fall before your eyes. And you suddenly realize that the very nature of who we are, the very nature of reality itself, is being systematically kept from us, and we're being sold a fake one. A fake one that gets us to self-identify with our name as who we are, with our body as who we are, with our life story as who we are, our sex who we are, our color, race as who we are, where they're just experiences for the real self, which is infinite awareness having that experience. It's that infinite awareness, a state of being aware, that near-death experiencers talk about experiencing when they leave the body and they leave the lens, the vehicle, the biological computer that is decoding reality in a certain way. I mean, just think about it. The particles that make up your body actually exist in many places at the same time. They actually have no single location. The world that we think exists and is so real and we have to find solutions within is merely a construct in the brain. A small part of the brain that decodes information into visual information, electrical information into visual information. There is no out there as we perceive it. It's all going on in here when information is decoded, like a computer decoding the Wi-Fi. And what information we decode and the range of information we decode and the understanding that we decode depends on our own perceptions. If we have pea-sized perceptions of everything and pea-sized perceptions of ourselves, I'm just little me, what can I do? I've got no power. Then collectively, we are ripe for control by the few, and that's what's happened. And if we don't open our minds, and much else besides, and see beyond the program, see beyond the reality that we downloaded all our lives, and the sense of limitation, the sense of I can't, the sense that this physical five-sense world is all that exists, when in fact it only exists in a decoded part of the brain, then we'll live in a certain kind of world that is open to be controlled by a few of a certain kind of people. If we perceive the world to be a series of different races, different religions, different everything, then we can be manipulated into being divided and ruled between all those fault lines. I don't like you because you've got a different religion to me. I don't like you, you're a different colour to me. And all this bloody nonsense. I don't like you because you've said something that's just upset me. I want to save space. then we'll live in a certain kind of world and be easily open to mass manipulation and mass control. Or we can look in the mirror or look beyond the program. And we can not only accept the concept that we are awareness having an experience, infinite awareness having an experience, but actually live from that perspective. That not that I'm David Icke, it's my experience currently, but that I am infinite awareness having that experience. And I could tell you from my own personal life and that of others I know and have met over the years, that when you move that point of self-identity from I am my body, my name, my income bracket, my background, my race, my religion, to I am infinite awareness having that experience, that movement of point of attention from the fragment of infinite awareness to a much greater swathe of it transforms not only your ability to see the world for what it is, it also transforms your perceptions of everything and your understanding of how you personally can make a contribution to making a difference in what we call solutions. And when people say, tell me what to do, tell us what to do, give us some solutions, that's the program speaking. Because when you go beyond what I call phantom self into a self-identity with infinite self, infinite awareness, then you know yourself how you can contribute and what you should do or could do to contribute to making a difference. And not only that, you have this passionate desire to do it. And so many use, well, what can we do? Give us some solutions as an excuse not to do anything. So the solution and the problem are indivisible, but people want to see the other. And, if you're looking for solutions within a world that you think is solid, within a world you think is physically real, when actually it's just a decoded sense of reality in your brain, then where do you start? Where do you start finding solutions in a reality that's not even the reality you think it is? This world is a projection. It's a projection of something from the unseen, energetic information, perceptions, emotions that are projected from the unseen into this illusory physical reality. You're not going to find solutions to anything within this reality because it's just a movie. You're not going to find ways of changing the movie on a movie screen. You can complain all you like about the movie. The movie's the movie. You've got to go and find where the movie's being projected from, and then you change the movie, because the movie has to change if what it's projected from changes. And that means changing ourselves. It means looking in the mirror and saying, how am I contributing to what I want to challenge? People talk about what are the solutions, and you see them on the internet and social media. Really vicious, aggressive. You're doing this, you're doing that with solutions. They're not all like that. Some are very respectful. Like I said, but you get that. And that is classically part of the problem. This disunity, this desire to abuse, this classic divide and rule that people contribute to all the time, almost without exception. Everybody gets pulled into it in some level. Well, that's adding to the problem. So if we stop doing it, then we're adding to the solution or removing the problem, and thus changing the way the problem manifested. If we stopped abusing each other and fighting each other over religion and race and gender, not a bloody vehicle for divide and rule, that is now, then we're contributing to the change that needs to take place to stop what we don't like happening. And it's a choice, really, ironically, from what Stevie Sleuth said. It's a choice in the end between fear and love. Not love in the sense of attraction, but love in the greater, infinite sense. And we can make that choice whenever we like. We can look at information coming to light and we can say, that's frightening, shut up. So you're giving into fear. And where's that going to take us? Except deeper into what we don't like. Or you can come from a point of love in its infinite sense. Not I love you, darling, saw you down the disco. Love. Love that expresses itself far more through friendship than through physical attraction. Friends are normally always there no matter what. Those physically attracted, and what we call love, often are not there when they're needed. And so, coming from that point of love, it's, okay, you have that religion, that's fine, so long as you don't oppose it to anyone else. You have that religion, that's fine, so long as you don't oppose it to anyone else. You have that race, you have that race, well, okay, they're just vehicles for infinite awareness. We're all the same infinite awareness, they're just vehicles. You have that opinion, fine, I don't agree with it, but you have a right to have it. Oh, you want to say that? Well, I don't agree with what you're saying, but if I believe in free speech, then I agree that you should be able to say it. And then it can be debated. And so on and so on and so on it goes. All these things that are solutions staring us in the face. And but they pass people by because they want a list and minutes and stuff, like I say. The solutions are in the mirror. But how many people want to look there? How many people, when they realize that they could take responsibility and they could make contributions to circulating information that will give people the fix on what's going on, but they won't do it. And they won't do it because they don't want the consequences of doing it. They don't want the abuse. They don't want the dismissal. They don't want the ridicule. Well, don't do it then. But then don't say to me, where are the solutions? Because there they are, but don't want to go there. You know, when you wake up to another view of life, another understanding of what's actually happening behind all that appears to be happening, there's a responsibility in that as well. You know, that information is no good if it just stays with the one person and they stand on the other side of the street saying, yeah, I knew that was going to happen because that, yeah, well, where's that taking us? Nowhere. And we need to move to the next stage of all this, where people not only get a bigger understanding of what's going on, but then say, okay, well, how do I contribute to making a difference to it? And how am I making a difference, or how am I making a contribution to it at the moment, which I could change my behavior and attitudes and not then make. It's a time when people need to find the mirror and say, what am I doing? How am I contributing to the problem? How am I contributing to a solution to the problem? Instead of dismissing amazing, fantastic, extraordinarily importantly needed information coming to light as frightening people, and then saying externally, where are the solutions? Well, where are your solutions? I might say to those people. In terms of positivity, like I said earlier, how more positive can it be than to realize the idea of death is a myth, to control us, to frighten us, ironically? How many people go to mainstream medicine and have horrific treatments just because they fear that if they don't, they'll die? And often they do anyway because of the treatment. Fear of death is a massive controlling mechanism. There is no death. There's just our awareness withdrawing from the vehicle and continue to experience infinity within the wider infinity. I mean, God dear, it's frightening, isn't it?